Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Legion Talk. And what we're talking about today is I am actually going to do a brief review of the movie The Electric State. Now, I'm going to talk about the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I'm going to give you a basic overview because it's a recent new movie from the Russo brothers with Chris Pratt, with Anthony Mackie in it, and it is Millie Bobby Brown, and it is something I think you should watch, and I'm going to tell you why. But first off, we do have to address the elephant in the room. From film, I've never heard of this site, but that's fine. It's been basically reposted by the MSN. Despite topping streaming charts, the Electric State looks like a massive flop for Netflix. Now, the reason I say this, the reason I agree with this, streaming services were huge during the coup. Now, the problem is though, is that people love going to the movies. And now that there are so many streaming services under the sun that it's almost as bad as cable, people cannot afford them all. So yes, you're going to be having an issue. Anthony and Joe Russo's latest Netflix feature, The Electric State, is one of the most discussed films of 2025 thus far, though not for the reasons the filmmakers or the streamer would likely prefer. In the months leading up to March, it's fine. Alas, they didn't want The Electric State, based on Simon Stellenberg's 2018 graphic novel. The film, which centers on a young woman, Brown, a sentient robot searching for her former presumed dead brother, earned scathing reviews across the board. Currently holds an atrocious 15% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, from the critics, from the critics. This is why you can't trust people. The Electric State is a costly failure that could cost viewers more risk-taking movies. Okay, what to decipher from this? What to take from this? If the budget is reportedly what it is $320 million. If that's the total budget with marketing included, that's roughly in the neighborhood of probably a mid-level Marvel movie, if you want my honest opinion. Now, that being said, you want to talk about marketing budgets? I'm sorry, I talk about overinflated budgets. That is an overinflated budget for a Netflix movie, in my opinion. Should not have cost that much. Also, at the same time, Marvel movies should not cost that much. Now, the media will pick and choose, as we all know, what budget they want to report accurately on. Captain America, Brave New World, also kind of known as Captain Black Falcon. Nothing against Anthony Mackie, well, except for he did talk out of his ass. Nothing against him per se, or Falcon and Sam Wilson as a character, very good character. They said that the budget was $180 million without marketing. That is that is a lie. That's a massive lie. The budget after the 5 rounds of reshoots is somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 to 370 million dollars, and the marketing budget is somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 180 million dollars. So it will be a giant flop. But now you can't say that about Disney because Disney has the right politics. What actually matters? The people, and I'm going to tell you why I think this is actually a good movie, one to watch. The Electric State. PG-13, 2025, 2 hours and 8 minutes. From the critics, 109 reviews, 15%. The Electric, go away. The Electric State is the worst kind of film. It's emotionally hollow every step of the way, embarrassingly mediocre. Yet it cost 320 million to make. I'm sorry. I really hope that you were this critical during Captain America. Nobody cares about this crap anymore. An absurd amount of moolah that have been better spent on better films with smaller budgets. Wow. Wow. Fandom Wire. An ambitious but ultimately disappointing mess that frequently confuses muddled storytelling and contradictory ideas with nuance and depth. 5 out of 10. Okay, not terrible, not terrible. The Mary Sue. This ought to be good because there's two. Charlotte Simmons from the Mary Sue. There's not a single moving part of the Electric State that indicates even an iota of creative passion from anyone involved. The Russo brothers, who did Captain America Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Some of the highest grossing movies of all time, but sure. From Rachel Leichman from the Mary Sue. Now, Rachel Leishman has her own problems, but we're not going to go into those right now. What I love about the Electric State is that it is just a fun time. That is actually an accurate depiction. It isn't trying to be anything other than a fun look at an apocalypse film with robots. It's trying to be a little more than that, but I do agree mostly with what she says. So, the takeaway of this is, right, is that quite frankly, it's not going to be this massive stellar movie that you're going to talk about for years to come. Now, the popcorn meter from the audience, 73%. This is why you should see it, in my opinion. Uh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece. I'd probably agree with 3.5, 3.75 stars. Masterpiece for me. That's fine. Hey, cool. This movie is not the worst movie ever made, but I think it was a good film. I wish it had less AI, but the plot was real. Well, actually, the AI was actually interesting because it brought back to life the um the aspects of Bill Clinton and other characters from that era. Now, it is a movie that takes place in the 90s, about 1994 to be exact. It is a fun movie. You can see that we have 3 stars, we have 4.5, we have 4.5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 3 stars, 2.5. Okay, Netflix, you've done it again. They have basically become an agent for why theaters need to stay in business. Well, theaters need to always stay in business. I'm a massive advocate for theaters, and quite frankly, I think you should be too. The reason I think that this movie is something that is fun to watch, it is a good story. Chris Pratt does a great job. You have Giancarlo Esposito in it. He does a great job. You have all these actors in it, big name actors in it that do a great job. Millie Bobby Brown does a good job. Now, what I can't believe and what really bothered me throughout the whole entire movie, she's supposed to play the older sister of her teenage brother. She's meant to be, Chris Pratt calls her kid multiple times. Well, in the movie, she doesn't look her actual age of probably 21. She looks like the age of 25 in the movie, as you can see right here. She definitely looks the way her hair is, but it's the way she dresses and overalls and Chris Pratt calls her kid nonstop. If you really wanted to push this to be somewhat more believable, in my opinion, it would be something that take away. I'm not saying it needs to be a romantic in any way, shape, or form, but take away the kid aspect of like the father figure and maybe make it more of kind of like a buddy situation because by the end of it, it kind of seems like a little fatherish in my opinion. That part I didn't care for. I think the CGI was pretty good, wasn't great. I think the acting was pretty good, wasn't great. And I think the story itself was pretty good, wasn't great. It had a lot of great nostalgia moments, bringing back stuff from the 90s, things that we remember, because I am closer to 40 than I'm 30. I think it is something that would be fun for a lot of people to watch. I definitely recommend you watch it if you just want a good popcorn movie with some good action, some funny jokes, and some decent heart. It's got a good amount of heart to it. And the ending, if you've never read the book, which I have not, I think would probably sit well with you but with the way it ends. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you were informed by it and stuff. And again, take the critics with a grain of salt. These people are the worst kind. They'll praise Disney for being for a garbage movie, and then they'll sit there and they'll slam something like this. Again, if you so see it, guys.